You know, when a club's biggest star declares war on his own manager, in public, you know something is seriously wrong. Today we're going to dive into the crisis that's completely taking over Liverpool Football Club. It's a story about public finger-pointing, terrible form on the pitch, and a club legend who feels totally betrayed.
And boom, there it is. This is the bombshell quote from Mohamed Salah that just sent absolute shockwaves through the football world. This wasn't some cryptic tweet, you know. This was a direct, public shot fired at the very club he plays for.
Look, this is so much more than just a player being frustrated. This is a modern-day icon, a legend of the club, pretty much screaming from the rooftops that he's being made the scapegoat. He's just blown the lid clean off the turmoil that's been bubbling under the surface at Anfield.
Okay, so what exactly did Salah say? And why do his words carry so much weight? Let's break it all down.
It's not just one thing, it's a whole list of grievances. First off, Salah says he's being made the fall guy for the team's terrible form, especially after being benched for 3 games in a row. He then claims he has, and I quote, no relationship with the manager, Arne Slot. He also says promises made in his contract just haven't been kept. And after everything he's given the club, he feels a total lack of respect. And then, maybe the biggest gut punch for the fans, he hinted that his next game at Anfield could be his last.
To really get why this is such a huge deal, you just need to know one number: 250.
That's how many goals he's scored for Liverpool. The man has won everything. Everything. So when Mohamed Salah talks, people listen. And right now, what he's saying, loud and clear, is that the relationship is completely broken. So what was the final straw? What made him go public like this? Well, to understand that, we have to rewind the clock just a few hours to a chaotic game that was basically Liverpool's entire season in a nutshell. The final score against Leeds United, 3-all. But believe me, that scoreline, it doesn't even begin to tell the real story here. Liverpool were cruising in this game. They were ahead not just once, but twice, and yet somehow they just couldn't see it out. They fell apart at the back and gave up a late equalizer. It's become this painful, familiar story for their fans, just total fragility.
And look, this Leeds game wasn't some random fluke. It is part of a really worrying pattern. Just look at this. Out of their last 15 games, Liverpool have dropped points in a mind-boggling 11 of them. That's not bad luck. That's a trend. This is a team that just can't seem to control games or handle any kind of pressure.
And you know, this frustration isn't just about Salah. The cracks are starting to show everywhere. And now the manager himself is starting to point fingers too. It's the question every single fan is asking, right? Well, after that Leeds match, manager Arne Slot had a very specific and very public answer. Yep, you heard that right. That's what Slot said about his own center back, Ibrahima Konaté. He accused him of being a bit too much at the crime scene this season. I mean, for a manager to say that using that kind of language about one of his own guys, it's almost unheard of. It's just wild.
So what he's really saying here is pretty clear, isn't it? He's putting Konaté on notice. His spot in that starting lineup is absolutely not safe anymore. This just goes to show you the tension isn't just between the manager and Salah anymore. It's spreading.
And this really gets us to the heart of the whole conflict. On one side, you've got Salah, the superstar, who feels like he's being unfairly singled out for the team's failures. And on the other side, you've got the manager, Slot, who seems to be trying to stamp his authority and hold players accountable during what's looking more and more like a really painful rebuild.
This whole situation puts the manager in a really tough spot. I mean, think about it. If he backs down to Salah now, he looks weak, and he could lose the entire locker room. But if he stands his ground and the awful results keep coming, well, he could be out of a job. It's a classic rock-and-a-hard-place scenario.
And all of this, it's all happening with a giant ticking clock in the background. Because whether he ends up leaving for good or not, Salah's departure in the short term is already a done deal.
Okay, so here's how the next few weeks are going to play out. We just had that draw with Leeds. Next up, they've got a tough trip to Inter, followed by a home game against Brighton. And then, the big one. On December 15th, Salah's gone. He leaves to play for Egypt in the Africa Cup of Nations, and his season with Liverpool is officially on pause. And with his relationship with Slot completely shattered, these next few games aren't just regular matches anymore. Every single time he steps on that pitch, it could be his final goodbye to the fans at Anfield. The stakes are incredibly high.
So, where on earth does this leave Liverpool? What we're seeing is a club that honestly looks like it's coming apart at the seams.
It really is the definition of a perfect storm. Let's just run through it. You've got your superstar player in open rebellion. You've got a manager whose job is on the line because of bad results. That same manager is calling out his own defense in public. And to top it all off, your best player is about to leave for a month anyway. It's a full-blown crisis.
Now, there are two ways you can look at all this chaos. The first is through the lens of a rebuild. You know, that difficult, messy process of moving on from one great era to start another. It means accepting some pain right now for the hope of success down the road.
And that really leaves us with the million-dollar question, doesn't it? With its star player and its manager at war, is all this explosive public drama just the ugly but necessary work of a manager trying to build the next great Liverpool team? Or are we just witnessing the spectacular, messy, and kind of sad end of a golden era?